Hello everyone! We are making something very different and beautiful today, inspired by Japanese art and using acrylic pouring, glue gun and simple painting techniques. We are going to take pouring further than ever. Let me show you how I did it. Now, I've got something special in mind today. I was asked by one of my lovely patrons, so it's dedicated to you, Kelly, this episode, for a crane. And then I looked at various cranes and I fell in love with those kind of traditional looking Japanese ones. So I'll try to, do my own version. You guessed rightly, yes, I'm going to do it on a long canvas. 50 by 20. I want one crane and I want some kind of a red sunset, and I'm actually thinking of doing it in a completely different way, so you did not expect this one. So I might try a couple. I'm just going to sketch quickly and see if I like it. It's going to be something like that somewhere here. I do want the head to be slightly stylized going over the body because it's a super quick sketch. Once I'm happy with the design, I'm going over really thickly with a soft pencil, and I usually transfer it onto canvas, but I've got another plan. This is actually 1B. 4B would be much better. So as I said, I've got something very exciting. I mean, exciting for me, because if it works, it might revolutionize some of my work, because I'm going to use glue gun, as you've guessed. But when I use glue gun on my pieces, I always put the glue gun first, and then I did some pour on top because I wanted all my lines encased in paint. I thought it was very important. Today I'm going to try something completely different. And yes, there are different techniques. And now, I hope it's clean enough. Ta-da! I want to use my silicone mat. I'll do it this way. So I'm going to tape it together so it doesn't move. Glue it or something. Or glue gun it. See if that gets stuck. All I want is the paper to be together with my mat, so it doesn't move. If that works, I'll be so happy. I do have my new show bonder, but why am I not using it? Because I've got a silver glue stick in it and I can't take it out. And this one, in a minute, I'm going to change the color as well. It's the first time that I'm going to use this one. I'm a bit worried because I don't have much. I have only 3 of these. And if I messed it up, obviously I won't have any more gold, but hopefully that's going to be enough. Let's put another one straight away. Joining 2. I'm going to start with the section that I'm, least worried about, and that's going to be the tail. Why? Because I can make shorter lines, and it doesn't matter if they're slightly different. Now a bit longer. With the longer ones you should be faster. After a few moves I am much more confident, and this glue stick does feel a bit different, If you worked with a golden glue stick, did you notice that it feels different, or you think it's my imagination? Now let's just do some of the feathers. Let's do the legs now. Okay, I finished at this thicker section, so let me continue. I'll try this one. So there's this lump here, and now all the way straight. I don't think I will bore you anymore with the glue gun. Maybe once I get to the head, because that's quite complicated. As you've noticed, I've left the hardest part as the last one, because I really want the beak to be really thin, and I'm kind of wondering. No. I'll have to redo it. I think it's too thin. Too thin. The best thing is nothing easier than taking it off the silicone mat. If you don't like it, just take it off. So I love that part. There are no marks on the canvas. Some of you are doing it on other surfaces, but I don't think there's anything simpler than this. Let me start from here again. Look, ta-da! I can try till I'm happy. I could just paint the eye later on, but I want to try if I can do it, So I'll try to do those lines. Just don't press too hard if you're doing anything that complicated. I think I'm fine with the eye. Now the other part of the beak. Yes, yes, yes. Ha! Now it's going to be very easy because I am just going to do quick short lines imitating the feathers, and that's it. And they don't have to be identical like the design. If it's too complicated, I'll just simplify it. That's the end of stage 1. I think the head looks good. Tomorrow I'll do the background, and then the most satisfying thing, we're just going to take it off. Look, it just comes off like butter. Do we want to see it on the canvas before it's peeled off? It's going to be good. I have to think of the sun. It's time to do the background. Something like that, quite neutral, with some beiges and greys and maybe gold. So what do I have now? I've got gold, and this dark one is pale space grey. Burnt umber, almost full, with a bit of titanium white. That's the whole pot of titanium white. And this is pink blush, Dalerani paint, but I added some burnt umber to it. And I've got a lighter version with more white. And I am really thinking, what would you like to see? Would you like to see flip cups? Would you like to see hairdryer? Or perhaps both? Oh, one more thing. I'm going to show you the consistency of my paints. Can you see the uninterrupted stream? That's really nice. I can go really high. And it's like that. So what do I have in it? 1 part of paint to 1 part of Floetrol. I sometimes add more. This is the British Floetrol, which is much thicker than the American one. And I also have PVA glue with water. And that's the PVA I use. It's archival. And there are links to the products used in the video's description. Now, if it's too thick, and in this case it was a bit too thick, I add a bit more water. I think the main problems with pouring is if your consistency is wrong. Everything else kind of can be tweaked and changed, but the consistency is, in my opinion, is so vital. So, as I said, let's just have more fun and let's do some flip cups. But I'm going to do them in those wide containers. I'm going to layer my colors. The first paint you put at the bottom is the paint that will end up on top. So if you want it lighter, I'll just put white. I'm going to do 3. And as I said, if I don't like the result, I'm just going to use my hairdryer. Bit of beige. If you put more paint, you have bigger sections of color, of course. Okay, so what's missing? Oh, yeah, some colors are missing, of course. Gold is missing. Silver is missing. That's cute. I'm going to go with silver at the bottom. I was considering black, but in the end I didn't add any black. If you're wondering, all the containers are recycled. Yogurt jars, cosmetic products, sauces. I don't have to put all the colors everywhere, do I? No. If you pour from higher, colors will mix more. There is no like deep thought to it. I'm just playing with colors. So with the first one, it's super easy because I can do this. And that should stay. With these two, this one will be in the middle. I want the darkest one at the bottom. I'm hoping it's going to be the darkest. Let's see. Goes. Yeah. Plenty of brown. I do have lots of white in case I think it's too much brown. And this one. All right, I am ready to release it. So drag it here and all the way down. Oh, so pretty, pretty, pretty. Now this one. That's really dark. That's okay. And the last one. Okay. Very pretty colors. Now, little maneuvering. Yes, I should be absolutely holding something here. Oh, this is rather pretty. But as you can see, I don't have tons of paint, so I'm really frugal with my paint as usual. I want to get rid of this brown. So that's awesome. Let me put it on something. I'm going to clean those silly hands, and I'm going to come back and do something with this part. Otherwise, I love this and that. Let's just torch it a bit. Very interesting. I actually don't want more cells. I think that's plenty. I'm really torn. I don't know whether to remove it with a hairdryer or not, because I don't want to mess it up. But I did promise you maybe just some action, so, well, if I mess it up, we'll have to redo this section, but let's just try. It's a very different effect. What do you think? Should I add a bit more grey on top? Let's use a straw as well. You know, you can play with colors as much as you want. It's so good about fluid acrylics. And maybe a bit of white. And I'll try to blow this again. Okay, that's not what I wanted. We'll do something else. That's why I left some grey, you know, in case I don't like it. Oh, that's nice. And what else? Let's just add some silver and try again, very gently. So the last thing we could do if we don't like some sections, and I still am struggling with the brown here, you know. I put too much brown, trying to fix the colors, but I'm very happy with actually most of it, just this section. I wanted more grey. All right, I think my crane can sit on this. So, and this is the collected paint. If you think I'm crazy, well, I just can't, you know, I can't leave it or throw it away. I just have to collect it, and then when I mix it, I'll get another new shade. It's impossible to get this shade. It will be completely unique because so many colors went into it. Do you know what I love about using my hairdryer? Every painting gets dry so quickly, and you've got those really beautiful effects. I really like the colors and the silver on top. There is some gold, but it's kind of hidden underneath. Interesting cells, like completely unusual. So I think it's time to try the crane. That paper was just stuck all the time. It worked absolutely so well. I don't think I made something bigger than this. I can take it off with my little finger. It's so easy and so satisfying. I think it's the best solution ever if you don't want to do it on the canvas. I know some sections, I was trying to join them, but some sections are sort of semi-joint, so I have to be careful. I wonder how many of you will be trying it this way now. Here I can even reposition some. I can make, look, I can find the best. First of all, I'll be looking for the best spot for the bird. And of course, he's going to be painted, so things will change. I'm looking for some big templates. I want it bigger than this. Probably, yeah, that's the same size. Oh, that might be the right one. Or shall I go for even bigger than this? Of course, I can use compass and make any circle, but somehow I find it easier using something that's around. I do have some tissue paper that's red. Oh yeah, just behind the bird. I'm actually going to take a photo of this arrangement, and then I'm going to flip over and see which one I prefer. I don't think I want to cover this beautiful section. The legs are perfect here, and this is the darker background. And super quickly, oops, that was double. Walk up two. You see that? We covered the nicest part, and also if I cover this, we just left with those lines. So for me personally, there's no question that I prefer the first one. I'm going to draw a line around the bird inside, so when I glue it, I'll know exactly where I want it, so I don't have to worry later on. I'm going to glue it in sections. This is diamond glaze. It's a really strong glue. I'll start with the legs. Probably brush would be more efficient. Just making sure every little bit is covered. And I'm going to wait a bit for it to become a bit more tucky. Alright, just like that. Ready to put the feet. The good news is that I can actually move it at the moment. Happy with the legs, and I'm holding them down. It's much quicker now brushing it on. I just could have drawn around and painted the circle meticulously with a small brush, but I want to make it easier for everybody. So I am going to cut it out. This is frisket paper, but any contact paper, sticky paper will do. And I'm just going to cut out the inside. I am removing the inside. I'm not going to use this one, I'm going to use the outside. I put this circle where I want, and now I'm going to peel off. You just put it ever so gently, and as you've noticed, I didn't glue the bird down here because I knew I wanted my circle here. Okay, once it's in position, I can remove the red one. Now very gently. Because I want this section really vibrant red, I'm going to start with a bit of white, like a background primer. Yes, this is a makeup brush. And once I cover it, I'm going to wait for it to dry, of course. Now time to choose the right red. In those Japanese painting, the red is very vibrant. I don't think it's crimson, that's too dark. I'm going to go with this Scarlet by my Artscape. I think that's the right color. Okay, so I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to dub on the red now. Might need 2 layers, we'll see. This is highly pigmented paint. So if I had this brown underneath, the grey and brown, we wouldn't see the red so clearly. That's the only reason for me painting white first. That's also a perfect moment if you have spray paint. That would be really nice as well. At the same time, I could paint some of those sections white. As you know, I'm going to paint the bird. I do like those patterns here, but I'm going to paint it anyway. And I don't want it so dark everywhere. So this is a quick layer of white. 12:15. Bye bye for today. I think it's all dry now. 2 layers. So time to peel it off and stick the head on. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. Oh, this is so satisfying. Oh, what a beautiful sound. That's so nice. Time to glue the rest of the bird. Everything is nicely stuck, so for the next few minutes I am going to cover the rest of the crane with white acrylic. And now I will go over the red as well. And there are various types of cranes. This is the Japanese one. I just kind of fell in love with the paintings. But there are so many beautiful cranes. That's what we have at the moment. I might finish with the white, and then next stage will be adding black and grey and a bit of red. So you can really see the bird now. I like the head against the sun. I was thinking of some branches before, but there's no way it will take away from this piece. I will be painting the feathers on the tail now. Now a little trick. Don't start with the darkest first. Like, I'm not going to start with black. I'm going to actually start with grey, because then I can always add darker values. But if I start with the darkest, that's it. It will be very difficult. I'll have to wait for it to dry and I'll struggle. And when you're making grey, I always tell my students, because they sometimes get confused, they put white in black. No, we're just taking a little bit of black and putting it in white. That's the way to do it. Okay, that's a really nice light grey. Might do some of the feathers, definitely maybe even here. And that goes very well with the background. Now I'm using lighter grey as I go higher on the wings, and in a minute even lighter. There'll also be some shadows here. I think I will leave the very top almost white. I'm trying to add some lighter feathers on top, creating some shadows, some contrast. You can only see them because the background is grey. Now this part of the neck is also grey-black. It's actually almost black, but as I started with grey, I'll just continue with grey first. I think it's the inner part, so definitely this section. Let me turn it so it's comfortable to paint. You know, it's a cross pouring and all the Japanese style art. I do like the subject a lot, and I find this red sun really adds to it. I hope you agree with me. And yes, when I finish, it's going to be on my website, so for purchase if you're interested. I always forget to say that, but you know, there are extended versions of each episode on my Patreon. So if you really want to recreate, make a similar painting, that's the place to go. Also, I'm thinking about the legs. They should be sort of dark grey, I think. I have to be careful not to cover my lovely gold. So now I've got the really dark grey. Now I'm adding the darkest, well, the pitch black in some sections, leaving some of the grey to make some, you know, a little bit of contrast and make it more interesting. And once I do, and then I'll do the neck the same way. And some black on the neck. I also need a bit of red on top. So let me turn it again. Oh, loving the contrast here. That's so pretty. I'm sorry, but I am quite excited about this one. Just some like little feathery imperfections. Well, I hope you will like it. I'm not sure which one is a male, which one is a female. I'll have to investigate what the differences are. That leaves me with the eye. I'm glad I managed to actually use the glue gun well here on the eye, because I've got the right shape. Okay, I checked with the real bird, and there's again like a black or grey section here, and that will go very well with the black eye. Not trying to make it as dark as the eye, of course. I want this to be seen. For the beak, I don't even know what color it is. I just mixed white, black and gold to create some kind of a beigey color. I didn't even expect that I'll be enjoying this one so much. Don't know, maybe because I like the subject. I do like painting birds, but this one is so elegant. Well, the very last thing is the red here. I picked different shade of red because I don't want it to be identical to the sun. Not sure how big I want this little patch. That's probably enough. Now I'm going to try, and please forgive me all Japanese friends because I really don't know how to do it properly, but I'll try my best to do my initials in Japanese. I did a Japanese style painting once of the mountains with the cherry blossoms, and if you haven't seen it, I really liked it, so please do. Now the B sound is so complicated. That will be A, B, hopefully. If you are Japanese and you're watching my tutorial, can you please send me a message how to write A, B properly? Is that the right way or not? In future, I might try to paint another Japanese style painting, and I would love to sign it properly. To finish it off, because I considered it almost finished, is going to be just a glimpse in his eye. Well, there we are. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please. If you would like to help support the channel, you can check out my Patreon and get access to extended versions of each week's tutorial and much more. This piece is also available on my website if you really liked it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.